He set a career high in games played, wins, and shutouts last season. He also established a new NHL record, winning his first 10 road games of the season. He signed a 5-year contract extension with the Vancouver Canucks on February 21st, and he won a gold medal with his home country of Finland at the 2019 World Championships. He is Kevin Lankinen, and he joins us here on the Canucks Insider Podcast.
All right, joining us here on the Canucks Insider Podcast, Kevin Lankinen, just wrapping up his first season as a Vancouver Canuck. And you come into training camp, you sign a 1-year deal here, you get your extension, which we'll dive into a little bit. But just for you to pick Vancouver, and you've touched on it a little bit throughout the year, I know you enjoyed kind of getting a chance to be someone who played a lot of games. You got that opportunity this year. So when you look back at your year, how happy are you with the decision to sign with the Vancouver Canucks way back then?
Yeah, I mean, looking back, it was the best decision I ever made, right? Just really happy how things turned out. Obviously, going back to last summer, that was my main goal, to find a opportunity where I can actually play more games, showcase myself. I kind of always knew that there is more in me, and I just needed that right opportunity. So really thankful that they offered it here, and now everything worked out. I'm really happy.
Did you know you had 51 games in you this year? Because you get to a career high this year, and I'm sure it had quite a different workload for you from your past.
Yeah, to be honest, I knew. Like, that's why I left the familiar behind. Like, it would have been easy just to stay in Nashville. I liked it there, and probably sign a better deal there, and life would be good. But at the end of the day, like, I wouldn't be fulfilling my own potential. And I'm determined, I'm hungry. I wanted to get to the next level. That wasn't the case for me over there. So I kind of jumped into the unknown and went through a summer of examination and going through different teams and going through different offers. And then when this thing came up, I knew there was something there. I just felt good about it. And then at the end of the day, it was just all a matter of preparation and hard work.
Where does that drive come from? Because a lot of guys will get to the NHL and be satisfied. That's a pretty huge accomplishment just to get into the NHL and play games. But it feels like this drive that you've had, and I've heard you talk about this in the past a lot, it seems pretty motivating for you. It seems like it's kind of the driving factor of what's pushing you.
Yeah, I mean, my main goal is obviously to win a Stanley Cup and be an elite goalie in this league. But at the same time, I want to be as good as I can ever be. I want to be as great as I can be in this sport and fulfill my potential and even beyond, you know, because that's what kind of keeps the fire in me. That's what I always done. I kind of come a long way a little bit, and I think that's why it just keeps me hungry and motivated for more.
Where does that come from? I'm curious. Like, is that something you've always had since you were a kid? Did someone teach you? Like, did you develop that as a player? Can you explain where that comes from, or is that just in you?
Yeah, I think it's in me. Like, ever since I was a kid, I had this vision, I had this dream of playing in the NHL. But growing up, I obviously did well, but I wasn't the top prospect by any means. Like, I never got drafted, so I played pro in the Finnish league for a few years, and then I signed as a free agent. I spent 2 years in the minors, going through that, and then just slowly showcasing myself after stage after stage. And now I feel like there is still so much more, you know, like what they say about maybe blooming a little bit later, that, you know, you reach your peak later on too. So I think the peak is it's still so far ahead.
What was it like for your confidence just to go through a year like this, where you're getting trusted, you get, you know, the first 10 road games or wins for you, you got 4 shutouts on the year, you know, Canucks fans are chanting your name at Rogers Arena. Like, just for you to be able to achieve some of these things that it seems like you're reaching for, I have to imagine that it boosted up your confidence. And then from there, did it kind of just snowball for you? Like, what was it like just building confidence this year?
Yeah, I think it just snowballed in the right direction. And but the way I see it, though, it's not just coincidence. Everything kind of culminates into the hard work and preparation, because when you prepare as well as you can, when the opportunity shows up, then you can just go and play. It's not like, okay, now I have this opportunity to play 50 games or carry the team, then now I have to do this and that. No, I'm just going to do my own thing, because the preparation is all the years I've done the work, all the summers, all the mental prep that I do every day, just to make sure that when the opportunity shows up, I can just go out and play.
So it feels like kind of your routine didn't really have to change that. Like, you were kind of setting yourself up for this.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. If you play 20 games, 60 games, 100 games, I think just the only thing you can control is what you can control, right? So yeah, I keep raving about this, but like, preparation is like how much you put in the work, in the gym, on the ice, how you eat, how you sleep, how well you prepare your mind, how well you rest your mind, and all these things. So when the puck drops, then you can just play, because you got the confidence coming from the foundation that you already built.
What was it like to be with UC Saros for 7 years as well and kind of see the way that he played and evolved in this league? I feel like you probably could have learned a lot as a young guy coming in and seeing how he handled a workload that kind of you took on this year for yourself.
Yeah, I've been fortunate throughout my career in the NHL to play with some elite goalies, whether it was Marc-Andre Fleury in Chicago, UC Saros a couple years in Nashville, and now even Thatcher. Pretty much learned and compete with the best. So, the way I see it, if I want to be the best one day too. So if you want to be the best, you got to practice with the best, you got to compete with the best, and at the end of the day, you got to beat the best, right? So just being really fortunate to have all those guys working with me.
With Fleury wrapping up his year, I think it was a lot of fun to just watch like the celebration as the way this season closed out. Everybody, I don't think there's anybody who hates this guy. Everybody's kind of rooting for Fleury, and to watch him kind of wrap up his career as a guy who was next to him for a couple seasons and just getting a chance to view that day to day. What did you think about how he wrapped up his career?
Yeah, I mean, he's a special guy, a really, really good dude to have in the locker room, one of the best teammates I ever had, and just a great role model for myself. I mean, I remember still, like, in my room back in Finland, my old house where my dad still lives, there's a poster of Marc-Andre Fleury on the wall, and now, like, he's retiring, and just being able to play with him, a guy that you grew up watching, is pretty cool.
It's awesome. Who were some other goalies that maybe you liked? Any other posters up on the wall aside from Fleury when you were growing up?
Yeah, there's been a bunch, yeah. Thankfully, we had some good goalies from Finland coming up that kind of paved the way. Mika Kiprasov, Pekka Rinne, Niklas Backström, Tuukka Rask, all these guys, Kari Lehtonen. So we had a lot of guys to look up to.
Yeah, Canucks fans remember Kiprasov pretty well as well. He had a lot of good games for Calgary against this team.
I'm sure, yeah.
What was it about goaltending that drew you to the position when you were young?
Something. It was something, yeah, because even when you grow up, you play different positions, right? You play D, you play forward, and I always tell the same story that when I played D, I ended up playing in front of my own net, blocking shots anyways, and the goalies would get pissed because it wasn't my turn to be in net. So it was just something that drew me into the position that I just love being out there.
I know, like, post-game, you'll give a ton of credit always to your defensemen, but now that we have a little bit of space here to talk about it, like, when defensemen are blocking shots for you or forwards are kind of closing out lanes, for a goaltender, like, what does that do? I don't think we've really ever heard a goaltender kind of dive into it too deep about, like, how important it is from your guys in front of you. Like, obviously, we see you make these big saves and these sprawling saves at times where you have to make these massive things, but just, like, protecting shooting lanes and what you have in front of you, not necessarily how important is it, but, like, from a goaltender's perspective, is that something that fans don't really notice as much? Because we just see you make the big glove save or you having to, walk up or whatever it is. But I think the guys in front of you play such a big role for you. The way that you talk about it pretty much every post game, it seems like it's a massive thing for a goaltender.
Oh yeah, and I think some of the guys who does a lot of that, they don't get the full credit. Like, we always see guys who score goals, or like maybe a goalie makes a save, maybe he doesn't. But there's so many, like, even in our D core, who maybe don't always get the recognition of all the little things they do right. So I think it's just fair for them to have the recognition they deserve. And I think a good example is our penalty kill this year. Like, it's 4 guys out there killing penalties, 5 guys including the goalie, and it wouldn't work if everybody wasn't on the same page. And I think this year we were so dialed in. We put in the work in the video room to do our homework. We kind of found a good groove, and that's why we were one of the top teams in the league.
With your guys' penalty kill, is they're trying to kind of limit the A chances and give you, like, the B chances, the weaker shots. So as a goaltender, I don't think we hear about this a lot on the penalty kill, but, like, getting those secondary chances be the ones that you're ready to take on, how much is that something that you kind of enjoy doing? Like, you're a big part of the penalty kill, obviously, as the goaltender, but we've never really kind of heard from a goaltender's perspective of, like, how they're setting you up. Like, you're going to face a shot, I guess, in certain parts of the power play. So for you to step up and be the guy on the penalty kill, how much do you kind of enjoy that moment?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where my mindset was too. Like, whenever we took a penalty, I was like, all right, I'm thankful I get the opportunity to help our team win now. It's not always about me, but I'm a big factor on the penalty kill, and so are the other guys. And it makes it so much easier when you can trust the defenseman is doing his thing, the forward is doing his thing, so then I can focus on my thing. Instead of me playing against 5 guys, it's us 5 playing against their 5 guys almost in my head.
And we saw that at the end of the year, especially the way the penalty kill just continued to get better as the year went on. Was it just, like, easier? Kind of, you almost knew where a shot was going to end up coming, like, at the end of the year? Is that how it kind of felt?
In the NHL, probably not really. I wish I knew where all the shots were coming from. We wouldn't let in any goals if we knew, right? But I think that's the trend where we want it to go, like what we want to give up, what we don't, and then just pressure them because every single team in this league has some really good individuals. If you give them time and space, they're going to create something. So I think we did a good job just taking their time and space out.
And contribute a little offense this year as well. Your assist, do you remember your one assist that you had this year?
Yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, now that you brought it up.
The 4 shutouts this year that you put up, the best you've done in your career, just kind of the way that you get locked into those games. What's it like kind of when you're feeling it in those games? You're making 30-plus saves in a row. I have to feel like there's got to be a different... Like, I'm curious where your mind goes when you're kind of trying to lock in a shutout, the way you're kind of getting at the end of a game there.
Yeah, some nights you just feel that not everything's going your way. And some nights they don't. But there's definitely a zone that every goalie wants to be in. And when you're in the zone, the game kind of slows down a little bit. You're seeing the puck. You're reading the play. You know, kind of you're one step ahead of the game almost in your head because you know where the pass is going. That's kind of the ultimate goal, to be in the zone every single night. But as we know, we're only human, and it's not possible. But at least that's a good feeling when you get there.
When you're getting to that point, like, do you know? Are you like, I'm in the zone right now? Like, do you feel it when it's happening during a game?
A lot of times you do, yeah. And I believe it's not coincidence. If you just go in there and hope that you're going to end up in the zone, then one day you might, but I don't think that's a good recipe in the long term. So you just got to do the work again, like mentally, physically prepare. And then when the pucks start flying, you're just, feeling it, you're having a good time, you're, doing all the right things that you're not thinking too much because in the zone, you're not really in your head, you're just in the moment and in your body.
That's awesome. I think what I've kind of enjoyed from watching your game is how much you step up when your country calls for you. And watching what you've done at World Championships and this past time at the Four Nations as well, getting an opportunity to represent Finland. What did it mean to be in a best-on-best situation at the Four Nations this past year, and just knowing that the Olympics are around the corner, you were able to perform for your country? What is it about, repping Finland that you love doing so much? Because I feel like it brings out the best to you. I've seen a lot of really good games with you in that blue and white. Yeah,
it's a dream come true. I think Finnish people are a lot like Canadians, where hockey is the absolute biggest sport. Everybody watches. So you grow up watching all these guys and they're your heroes, right? You see the lion on your chest and you hear the national anthem growing up, and that's like what you mimic in your street hockey. And then when you're getting there, you kind of feel the nation, you feel a little bit of pressure because everybody wants you to do well and you want to do well as well. But at the same time, I think the pressure brings a lot of good things about myself, because when something means a lot, that usually brings a little bit of that pressure, and that's just a good fuel for the challenge.
So what's the excitement level? Because I know, like, from watching the World Championships, I know that, like, Finland and Sweden, they really care about the World Championships. And then the Olympics are just around the corner. Is that even, like, a bigger deal for you guys, obviously, with what it is compared? Because, like, I feel like Finland really loves the World Championships. Oh, yeah. Every time I watch it, and I've seen some celebrations of you guys as well with the World Championships. What's the Olympics mean? Like, how different is it than a World Championships, I guess, for you guys?
Yeah, Olympics is different because the last couple times, the best of the best players haven't been there, right? So I remember watching the Olympics here, 2010 in Vancouver, and like Sochi and all these guys when the NHL guys were there, and it was great. So I'm just really hopeful and that we can get the best of the best in Milan next year as well. And obviously that's a big goal of mine to be there too, because it doesn't get much better than that.
What is it about being like a goaltender from Finland? Like, what is, like, we've seen so many over the years. It's just like you guys are pumping out great goaltending. How do you explain it? Because I feel like you would know more than me. So, like, why do so many good goaltenders come out of this country?
Yeah, that's a great question. A country out of 5 million people, we produce still a good amount of NHL players and goalies specifically. I think they do a really good job of goaltending coaching back home. And one big thing is too that I think goalies are valued. Like, we had these heroes, these goalies that played really well, and Karines and Kiprusoffs and all these guys who kind of paved the way. So a lot of kids grow up and they're like, I want to be like that. I was like that. I didn't want to be the next, Timo Solani or Saku Koivu. I wanted to be the next Kiprusoff, So I think that's just a big thing, that you have somebody to look up to, and then the kids get inspired.
Well, you mentioned the good coaching. Marco Terenius is here as your goaltending coach. What has it been like with the relationship with him and kind of continuing to build now for 5 more years here with the Canucks and having him as your goaltending coach?
Yeah, he's great. I got to give him tons of credit. I know him from before a little bit. We worked a couple times in the summers, but now that we had a full season to work on things, that's probably the most steps I took in one single season. And I played 50 games too. It wasn't just about like practicing. So I'm just really excited to keep working with him because he's such a brilliant goalie mind. He does his thing. He's calm. He doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low, but he's still expecting you to perform on a consistent level, whether if it's practice or a game. So I'm really excited about the future because now that we can just continue building for where we are right now, only the sky's the limit.
What's it been like to have some of these young goaltenders around you as well? Like you got Nikita Tolopilo, Artur Shilov has come up here. These guys are so young, but it seems like there's a lot of talent there. And it feels like when you're a young goaltender, there's so much learning that you need to do. Like goaltenders take a little while to get to that point of really being confident NHLers a lot of the time, right? So when you get a chance to have some of these guys around you and they're probably trying to pick your brain on everything, what does it feel like now to kind of be a little bit more of a veteran guy? I know you're not the 21-year-old anymore. Like you've been around a little bit and you have some stuff that you can share with these young guys. What do you enjoy about that process?
Yeah, I think it's cool, and they're great dudes. Both working with Artie and Tolo. Obviously, Demer, he's been awesome all year. But if we talk about these younger guys, then you can tell like when they're coming up, there's so many new things, so many new players they're facing, so many new cities, buildings, everything's new. They're asking all these questions, and it kind of brings you back to your own rookie years. And like we touched base a little bit earlier, how lucky I have been to be working with some of the best goalies in the world. So I want to be a good role model as well and a good leader where I can just make them feel comfortable and just forget about it all day. Don't need to think about it and just play their game.
Yourself and Thatcher Demko being a goaltending duo, a lot of people around here believe that you guys can be one of the best duos in the league. Is that the confidence level that you guys have with the duo that you have here with yourself and Thatcher?
100%.
Yeah. What is it about Thatcher that's kind of giving you that confidence as well? Because I know you have confidence in your own game, but just being around him, seeing how he operates, seeing when he's on his game, what is it about Thatcher that you appreciate as a guy who's going to be your partner moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, he's so talented. Just playing against him the last few years, you can tell like he's such a dedicated guy to his own craft. He's put so much time and work to put his game on a level where he can be elite every single night. And now this year, getting to know him, you kind of understand what's behind his mask, like how much he demands from himself. Is really hard on himself and expects greatness. And I think for myself too, there's a lot of good elements in his game that kind of we've slowly brought into my game as well, whether if it's managing the traffic or a couple other things that we've been working on. So I think it's just going to be a really, really fruitful situation for not only the team, but the both of us.
That thing you mentioned there behind the mask, I find that so interesting because I think I've been really impressed with watching you and how you kind of handle the mental side of things. Whether it's a good game or bad game, you seem to come out and do media the exact same way every time. Maybe a shutout, you got a little bit more smiles, but like it seems to be so level-headed. And I feel like as a goaltender, emotions must make it so difficult to play that position. So is that the same thing when you're in game? Like how are you staying so level, or is it different in game? Are you actually dealing with emotions up and down throughout?
Yeah, that's the challenge. Because we're human, right? And our brains are made to think. But at the end of the day, you don't want to be out there thinking because the game is so fast. So you gotta find your tools to stay present. Don't worry about what you can't control, whether if it's, how much time is left in the game or how many goals have been scored. I think, I've said this before, but in my mind, it's always a 0-0 game. Nothing really changes, whether we lead 3-0 or we're losing 3-0, because why would it? I'm just stopping the puck. So I think that's kind of my mindset and trying to stay present and focus on the task at hand.
It's just such a goalie thing. Like I'd say,
right?
Like, it's such a thing that it almost requires like you to be a goalie to kind of understand the mental battle that you kind of have to go throughout a game. It's interesting. And I'm wondering, like, who is somebody on this defense core, or even like a player that kind of can help you with that? Because I feel like with the goaltender, especially maybe after a goal that you just let in that you weren't very happy with, it's just kind of like you sometimes there. And like you just have to think about it. Is there anybody on the team that's been really kind of there to help pick you up or help kind of just straighten you back out with that mental side of things?
Yeah, I mean, since day one, I've been really feeling warmly welcomed here. That has helped to play my A game. But I got to give a lot of credit to Tyler Myers. He's been driving me back and forth from the airport. We've been having some really good conversations. He's kind of took me under his wing a little bit too, just to show around the city and kind of help me with a lot of new things in Vancouver. But the other guy is obviously Quinn. Looking at him, how good and dialed he is every game. He wants to be the best. He wants to be as great as he can be. And the way he's carrying the team, there's a lot of on his shoulders. He's playing as much as anybody in the league, and he's still like bringing it in every single night. That just sets the tone for the rest of the room and kind of creates the culture here.
Yeah, and it's interesting to watch that leadership develop. A guy like Marcus Pettersson comes in, who I feel like goaltenders must just love having a guy like him on your team. When he came into this room and sort of became a leader almost immediately walking through the door and knowing what he's done in the past as a veteran in this league, when you heard that he was the guy who was getting traded to Canucks, what was your kind of first thought knowing that Marcus Pettersson's coming in to help this defense core?
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. Like, he's so steady on and off the ice. I think he's bringing some good attitude, some good swagger within the locker room. He's loud, he's vocal, and just his game speaks for itself. Like he's such a solid guy, and I think a great addition to our team.
It's awesome. So you lock in a 5-year extension here in Vancouver. Just being a Vancouver right now, you got to like really embrace it. You're going to be here for 5 more years. What have you thought about the city? And I guess what are some of the things that Tyler's been showing you on these drives here that you're excited about?
Yeah, no, me and Tyler we're living pretty close to each other, so it's been natural. But I'm really enjoying my time here. Me and my wife both love the city. We're both outdoor people. We enjoyed the ocean. We enjoyed the mountains, and just having an opportunity on a day off to go for a walk, feel the ocean breeze, or just head out to the mountains or Whistler for a couple days. You know, just take your mind off of hockey for a little bit, because you don't have that everywhere, right? Like, it's such a grounding element for me and both of my wife as well. So I just really love that part of the city.
That's awesome. What's been her favorite about Vancouver? Just kind of getting a chance, that same stuff, just that outdoor ability. I mean, when you're on the road, I guess she's getting more time to spend in Vancouver than you are.
Oh yeah, she's seen it all. We brought some friends over and she's taken them places, and she's been to Whistler a bunch of times. She loves skiing and stuff. So we really enjoyed it here.
That's awesome. And I think the fan base obviously plays a huge part of that as well. Getting a chance to play for a Canadian market for your first time. I guess, like, you know, Chicago and Nashville, like, great fan bases there, of course, but it's Canada. It's a little different over here. You know this. What has it been like kind of just getting a chance to know this fan base a little bit and be able to do what you've been able to do at Rogers Arena and have fans chanting your name? Like, I have to imagine that there's a lot of pressure being a Canadian market, but what do you like about being in this market here with a fan base who is just so thirsty and wanting to get wins and see what you guys can do in the playoffs and these type of things? What does it do to you? And is it something you embrace? Is it something that puts pressure on you? How do you kind of evaluate being in a Canadian market?
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity, because whenever we show up Rogers Arena, you know you're expected greatness. You want to come here, you want to bring your A game, because if you don't, then you're going to get called out. And I think that's how pressure kind of builds diamonds too. Like, you're coming in here, if you're just fine with being okay, then that's not leading to greatness in my eyes. So it's been really cool, and I'm really thankful for all the love that I've got this year. Obviously, coming in as a new guy, and just feeling the support of the fans and how many people, like, whether if it's after a game, like the fans, or just going out for groceries and people come and push us and congratulate on a good game or a win or something. That's just a cool part of the city.
And I was going to say you didn't get a chance to see it in the playoffs last year, but you did. What is your thoughts about kind of being on the other side and getting a chance to see what this Rogers Arena can be like during the playoffs?
Yeah, that was one of the coolest experiences I've had in my NHL career. That's just game 1 and 2 here, seeing the towels, seeing kind of how the building erupted, and I can tell from experience that it's not an easy place to come to play on those playoff games when the building is rocking like that. So yeah, looking forward to more playoff action the next few years here.
To get back to the off season and kind of your summer training, like, I feel like I'm pretty confident in asking players about it, but like a goaltender's summer training, how different is it than a player? And what are like some of the things that you're focused on this summer to make improvements on, kind of in terms of, like, you know, I guess just physically and mentally for yourself? How do you approach an off season? What are some things that a goaltender is maybe doing that maybe the players aren't? Because we've talked to players all day today about what their kind of season is like, and it's like, I got to get faster, I got to get stronger. For a goaltender, is it faster and stronger, or what is it about that you have to work on?
Yeah, it is about that too, because we're athletes. So the foundation is obviously your physical abilities. If you're faster or stronger, the more endurance, then that's that's a great foundation for success. But it is a little bit more specific than for the players, because we got to focus on flexibility. You got to focus on explosiveness. At the same time, you got pucks flying your way, and you want to have those good reactions, instincts. So it's a puzzle, but I think I've found a good recipe with my off-season training. I have great people back home that I've been working with for years. I've built a team around myself that are the best that I can find, the best around not just Finland, but like in the world and in Europe. They've seen places, different sports, and you kind of surround yourself with the best possible team. And I think that's what kind of led me to this point as well, that coming in as a free agent, I'm able to perform because I've done the work and I have the people in my corner. So yeah, I wish we weren't here. I wish we were still playing, but then because we're here, you got to take the upside. Okay, what can I take and do with this time right now?
So what are your skates like back in Finland? Because I've talked to guys, their skates out in Michigan, their skates here in Vancouver. We have a lot of the good skates. Are you skating with pros back in Finland? It must be. I feel like you can build a pretty good all-star team of guys that you're skating together over there.
Yeah, and it's funny. I spend my times in Helsinki, and there's a bunch of NHL guys. Like when we went to Four Nations, there is a lot of the guys were the same guys that we skate with in the summer too. So we got probably 20, 30 NHL players around that area. So we got some really good skates, and we have some good goalie coaches as well.
What do you think about the young guys who have jumped in here, especially defensemen in front of you? I think with DPD and Mancini, these kids are 20 years old, and they're able to come jump in and already play NHL games and just be a guy who can contribute to this team. How do you kind of view these young guys and how they're making their way in the NHL this past season?
I think that's been really a positive surprise to see these guys step up and being so ready so early. And that's a good positive thing we can take from this season, that a lot of the younger guys got the valuable experience that they got, because that's going to help them grow, help them feel more ready for next season as well. And looking just like, for example, DPD there, how quickly he evolved and how big of a piece he became so quickly. And now hopefully he can keep improving like he has and be a big part of this future.
So this year, Alexander Ovechkin breaks the goal record. How does it feel to be one of the goaltenders that he hasn't been able to score on? And are you worried about next season now when the Caps come to town here?
Yeah, no, it's obviously cool to be part of his history, just playing against him and seeing it happen. It's a special moment for hockey in general. So I just got to make sure I prepare as well as I can, so next year I can keep stopping him.
That's awesome. And I heard from a fellow player of yours that you jumped in on the card table this year and were one of the guys that was getting rinsed pretty hard this year. Can you speak to this on the card table on the plane? Because I heard that you're one of the guys. I heard Puce had a great year on the plane, and I heard that you maybe didn't have the best year this year on the plane.
Yeah, I mean, Puce he's called the professor for a reason. So yeah, they spend a lot of time. I chimed in every time I could, and maybe I learned some valuable experience there as well. So next year will be another good.
Next year's your year. What's your favorite game on the plane with the guys?
We're playing Snarps.
Okay.
So it's a fun game that just makes the travel a little bit more lighter.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Kevin, appreciate you taking a bunch of time today. It's been great to watch you kind of develop throughout the year with this fan base and see them kind of really fall in love with you as a goaltender. And, you play good goaltending here in Vancouver. Everybody's going to love you. So it's been a great start for you. We got 5 more years of you. We're excited to have you in the organization. Wishing you the best this summer, and we're excited to see you in training camp when you get back in the fall. Now you get a full training camp this year.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little bit better for you.
That'll be fun.
Thanks for taking the time, and enjoy your summer.
Thanks for having me.